Philip Rivers came out of retirement, and suddenly the NFL's all-time passing records need constant updating. This isn't just another statistical footnote, it's become one of the strangest subplots in recent league history. Matthew Stafford passed Rivers on the all-time passing yardage list Thursday night, moving from 8th to 7th place with a massive 457-yard performance against Seattle. His career total now sits at 63,988 yards, just ahead of Rivers, who has 63,560 yards. Here's the twist that makes this bizarre. Rivers is active again. He's not watching from retirement like most players Stafford has passed. He's suiting up Monday night with the Colts, meaning he can reclaim his spot immediately. If Rivers throws for 329 yards Monday night, he jumps right back ahead of Stafford and reclaims 7th place. That might sound ambitious, considering Rivers managed just 120 yards in his first game back against that same Seattle defense Stafford just torched. But nothing about this situation makes conventional sense anyway. The comparison to Nolan versus Steve Carlton doesn't quite fit here. Those legendary pitchers battled for strikeout records while both remained active throughout their careers. Rivers retired, stepped away from the game entirely, then returned unexpectedly with Indianapolis. Nobody saw this coming. 2 weeks ago, suggesting a retired quarterback would come back and immediately start competing for all-time passing records would have sounded absurd. Now it's reality, forcing statisticians and record keepers to treat the all-time lists like fluid documents rather than settled history. Stafford has bigger targets ahead regardless. With just 101 more yards Monday against Atlanta, he would pass Ben Roethlisberger for 6th place on the all-time list. That milestone seemed straightforward until Rivers proved that retirement doesn't necessarily mean the end. The joke writes itself now, unless Roethlisberger decides to unretire next week, which sounded ridiculous 2 weeks ago before Rivers shocked everyone. Suddenly, nothing feels impossible anymore. Rivers' return raises fascinating questions about career statistics and legacy. When he retired, his 63,560 yards represented a completed body of work, a finished career to be evaluated historically. Now, those numbers are growing again, changing how we assess his accomplishments. Does adding yards in his late 30s enhance his legacy or dilute it? Does coming back for one more season demonstrate competitive fire or diminish the finality of his original retirement? These aren't easy questions, and there's no consensus among fans or analysts. For Stafford, the situation creates awkward competition with someone who theoretically shouldn't be competing anymore. He's chasing players whose careers ended years ago, establishing himself among the game's all-time greats. Except now, one of those supposedly retired legends is active again, potentially leapfrogging back ahead of him week to week. The practical implications matter less than the philosophical ones. Whether Rivers finishes 7th or 8th all-time doesn't fundamentally change either quarterback's Hall of Fame case, but the optics are strange, creating a moving target where none should exist. Rivers managed only 120 yards in his comeback game, suggesting age and rust have taken their toll. But he's facing a completely different defensive challenge Monday night. If Indianapolis establishes the run and Rivers finds rhythm in play action, 329 yards isn't impossible. Stafford's 457-yard explosion Thursday showcased why he remains elite. His arm strength hasn't diminished, his decision-making stays sharp, and he can still dissect defenses with precision. Passing Rivers felt like validation, proof he belongs among the legends. Except Rivers might immediately pass him back, creating this bizarre leapfrog situation where records change weekly based on who plays next. The scorecard metaphor fits perfectly. Record books traditionally document finished achievements, settled standings, frozen in time. Rivers' return transforms them into living documents, requiring constant updates.